Jahiem White is out. Jaden Bray is out. Jimmori Robinson in. We're going to talk about all of the roster movement here today on Between The Eers. Hello, everybody, and welcome into another episode of BTE. I'm Schuyler. Callihan. Here with me today is the man, the myth, the legend, Eugene Napoleon. I told you guys I'd get him on here a couple of times throughout the season, in addition to the Walk Thru GameDay Show, which is every Thursday, previewing this week's matchup, or every week's matchup. This week we'll talk about the Backyard Brawl, of course. Every Sunday, Tuesday, Wednesday, we have an episode of BTE and the Mountaineer Postgame directly after every football game. So, Gene here, we've got some crazy bad news for the offense with running back Jahiem White out for the year, Jaden Bray out for the year, the receiver, and we did get some good news that Jimmori Robinson is expected to play this season and potentially even play this weekend. So let's start maybe with the good news first with Jimmori here, because it's kind of I think we know what's going to happen there. We don't know what's going to happen at running back and receiver with those two guys out. So Jimmori Robinson, former American Athletic Conference Defensive Player of the Year, 10 sacks a year ago, can really get after the passer. What's your initial thoughts on this? I mean, I know we've been kind of speculating this and the potentials of it if it ever came to fruition, but here we go. Couple of games in, he's already missed. How much do you feel like it's going to be for him to get caught up to speed? Do we expect him to play a bunch early, and how big of an impact do you think he'll have?
Well, I think probably a pitch count.
Mm-hmm.
I think they'll have him on a pitch count. But what a game to come back for.
Yeah, you ain't kidding.
What a game to be cleared for. I like I like what we're doing defensively. I said that, even in the Ohio game, I really do. I think that a player of his caliber that can get after the quarterback is going to pay big dividends, especially as the season goes on.
Yeah.
I'm glad that it's coming back for the backyard brawl, but I'm looking now into Big 12 play to get him up and running and just getting his motor going to after the Pitt game to start the Big 12, conference play. I'm really excited about that because, to be honest with you, in the long haul is really where we're going to need him.
Oh, yeah, for sure. And like you said, the defense played well against Ohio. I mean, they defended 40 minutes of football, only gave up 17 points. I don't know what else you could ask from them. And you're right with Jimmori. I think there is going to be a pitch count. And, you look at the other three guys that were in that lawsuit against the NCAA. When they got cleared, they were able to play against Robert Morris, and none of them really played a ton of snaps. So it's probably going to be certain situations, obviously obvious passing situations they're going to put him in. I would assume, this is again assuming he is going to play this week, he can just really, pin his ears back and get after the passer. And what Zach has been able to do to already kind of affect the quarterback in certain blitz packages and just different creative things that he's done with that front. I mean, that says enough. But now that you can really add a true legitimate pass rusher to that, I mean, it's going to be fun to watch this defense play. I don't know about the offense, but the defense, they're going to be bringing the lumber every week. So
absolutely.
Flipping it over to the offense, because this is where the story really is, and that's Jahiem White, Jaden Bray. I think they've got enough bodies probably at receiver to kind of make up for Jaden's production, which you never want to lose a guy like that. He's big body. He's somebody I think was really going to break out this year. We saw flashes of it last year in camp, and then got injured a bit last year, showed some things early in these first two games. But I still think you got guys there. Justin Smith-Brown, Jeff Weimer, maybe even Preston Fox is going to get some more reps there. But running back, Gene, I mean, that's the one I don't know how you make up for Jahiem. And it's going to have to be a by-committee approach, of course. But when you look at the guys in that room that we thought were going to play a big factor, we haven't seen them yet. I mean, Sincere Bowers, very limited reps. Ty Edwards, very limited reps. We haven't seen Cannon Catcher yet. He's been banged up. So Dior Hubbard, redshirt freshman, who we thought was going to maybe have an impact, hasn't even played yet. What the hell do you do in that running back room?
Well, I'm going to be honest with you. At this point, it's listen, running back by committee. It's hard to replace Jaheim's, what he means to that room, the stability that he brings to that room. Whenever you have your star, your stud back, your number one go down, everybody else has to pick up that slack.
Yeah.
And at that particular point, you're talking about it's almost like it's running back by committee, but it's also running back by styles that fit this particular offense. So now Rich is going to have to figure out who fits this offense the best with the explosiveness getting to the second level, because that's what this offense is. If you look at Jahiem White's touchdown run, if you saw how quick he got to the second level between the linebackers and to the safety and was in and just scooting into the end zone, what backs do you have in that room that bring you that type of explosiveness?
Right.
These are the things as a former back that I'm thinking about if I'm in that position. What 2 to 3 backs do I have with that type of burst, that type of acceleration, that type of, getting through the hole and right downhill? That's what you have to think about. Now, once you figure that out, now you start thinking about how many carries this particular back is going to get opposed to, the other backs. Rich is going to have at least a stable of 3. At least a stable of 3 that's going to be able to do this now that Jahiem is out for the season. And I feel horrible for him because he worked his tail off. You can see his physical condition was totally different. His body structure was different. He really worked his tail off in the weight room, and you can tell that. So I really feel horrible for him and Jaden Bray as well. You hate to, so early in the year, to lose 2 really, really high quality players. And, I just pray for a speedy recovery.
Yeah, especially when the offense was already kind of in a bad way. And I mean, it's not like they were humming with those guys in there either. I mean, they had their issues, but I mean, this certainly doesn't help the situation. And, with Jahiem, I think that the difference between he and the other backs in that room is even if there isn't, this massive hole where the offensive line just parting the Red Sea for him to run through, he can still find a way to create yardage because he just needs that little sliver of space to make something happen. We
Right.
really haven't seen that from the other guys that have gotten carries so far. It's not to say that they can't, but that's a proven commodity with Jahiem. And now you've got to find a way not only to just run the ball, but you've got to be able to have explosive plays in the run game too, or else
Right.
you're going to be really in trouble because you can't just go methodically down the field, even in an up tempo offense. That's what these up tempo offenses do. They like to get a bunch of plays in, but you have to have some explosives.
You need explosive plays. Listen, from what I saw at Sincere Bowers, the little bit of limited time that I did see him against Robert Morris, his touchdown run was exactly what I'm talking about.
Mm-hmm. That's probably who it's going to have to be.
Well, yeah, well, that wasn't necessarily a massive hole.
Yeah.
Yeah, he found a crease, hit that crease, and next thing you know, he's in the end zone. That's what I'm talking about. It's those type of runs, those type of plays. Now, let's call a spade a spade. Whatever reason for a back of his caliber, and Hubbard for a back of his caliber, I don't know what that, I'm not there, so I don't know what that reasoning is. But those are the kind of backs that fit this offense.
Right.
Just saying. You're pretty much going to have to get, whatever it is, it's going to have to get worked out rather quickly.
Oh, yeah. And it's going to
Yeah.
start up front because, I mean, we can talk all the live long day about the running backs, all the different options you have. We could talk about the quarterbacks, and I'm going to talk about this tomorrow because I maybe went a step too far, maybe didn't clarify what I was trying to get across about the quarterbacks. But unless that group up front, if they can't get it figured out, then you don't stand a chance. Nobody stands a chance at any position. So
Absolutely.
that's the problem. But in regards to the running back position, I mean, you've got Clay Ash back there too, who hasn't done a whole lot yet in terms of yardage on his carries. They like him, so it wouldn't shock me to see if he's the first guy out there, but I just don't think he's going to be the guy. I don't believe personally, nothing against him. I just don't think he's the guy that can be your workhorse back. I think you need to have a guy with a little extra gear or an extra giddy up to him in that room. And Ty Edwards, he's a different beast. He's not Sincere Bauer. Sincere is clearly the fastest guy in that room. Ty's more of the CJ Donaldson type of body, right? He's 6'2", 230 pounds, but he can play. So I don't know what's going to happen, but they've got to figure something out. Gene, I will ask you this before we go. If there's one thing you would do to try and help fix this run game, especially with Jahiem out now, what would that number one thing be for you?
A back that's elusive. Yeah, a back that's elusive. When you have trouble up front blocking, all you need is a crease. So the most elusive back that you have in that room is who I would turn to first. I'm just being completely honest, because if a back that's elusive is running behind an offensive line that's having some issues, right, and they're going through some growing pains, that back can make that first person miss. That's a big deal if you have an offensive line that's struggling to block.
Right.
You can make that first person miss, and there's a crease. You got a chance to get 3 or 4 yards. Okay. If you have a back that can make somebody miss and he gets 2 carries and might luck up and get 5 on the first carry and 3 on the second carry, you're 3rd and 2. Okay.
And then that's when you bring in, Ty Edwards.
Right. Opposed to a back that it's not elusive. Now, and you have an offensive line that's struggling, that kid might get hit in the backfield. Now you're talking about 2nd and 12, 2nd and 13. You understand what I'm saying to you? So that's a totally different. You looking at your plays, you're like, well, okay, now we have scripted plays here. So now I'm looking at my play sheet, and I'm like, well, I didn't anticipate it being.
Can't do that.
So I can't do that, can't do that, can't do that. Oh, let me flip the script. Well, I got to do this.
That's where West Virginia lived on Saturday against Ohio.
Thank you. So you understand. So my thing is, no, I don't want to be behind the sticks. Give me a back that's elusive. Give me a back that if he finds a crease and the lineman provides a hole, this joker's going to squirt through it and get me 10, 8 yards and might make the safety miss. And now I'm bumping my head on the daggone goalpost. Okay, I'll take that.
Yeah.
I'll take that.
And I think, too, you're going to see, probably just because they have to, there's going to be a lot more screens being attached onto this offense just because they've got to me, I think a lot of people view it the same way. A screen is just an attachment to the run game. It's just, or an extension to the run game. It's basically the same thing. So you can do that with, slipping the back out into the flat. You can do wide receivers, bubble screens. You can do whatever. And I think, too, a lot of it's just going to be getting the ball into Cam Vaughn's hands. Like that works just as good, right? Just getting him the ball and letting him do his thing. So
he's also hey, I told you about him last year. Do you remember?
You did. You told me about him before Neil Brown was even fired. And
he's different.
And obviously this wasn't registering for me. I'm just like, okay, yeah, this kid from Jack State's lighting it up. That's cool. That's nice. Didn't really register. The moment Neil's fired, Rich Rod's the head coach. I'm like, hey, Gene, tell me about that Cam Vaughn dude again.
Yeah. Hey, I bet you it's registering now.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, it's definitely locked in.
Yeah, anybody that has to defend him, it'll be registered for them as well. Any defensive coordinator, he is different.
He definitely is. And he's going to have to be, now that Jaheim's out, the straw that stirs this drink for the Mountaineer offense. So that's going to do it for us today. For Eugene, Napoleon, I'm Schuyler Callihan. Make sure you hit that like and subscribe button. Hats off, by the way, to everyone that has. We have just crossed the 4,000 subscriber mark, so we thank you so much for doing that. Again, we couldn't do this without you guys. We wouldn't be able to keep doing these shows if you wouldn't keep coming back, so we appreciate you for doing that. I'll be back tomorrow with another episode of BTE, and then I'll get my guy Gene back on Thursday. We're going to get down into this thing, Gene. It's time for the Backyard Brawl. We're going to preview it. give our picks, maybe even reminisce a little bit on the good times in the brawl, as we always do, and get ready for it all. So thank you guys for tuning in, and we'll see you back here tomorrow morning on BTE.